Broadcasting live from the court of Garenbrig on the plain of Eldraine, this is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome everybody to Tap Tap Concede. My name is Graham, and joining me is Nelson.
Hey, I'm here.
And Kathleen.
Oh gosh, it's me.
And today we're going to be talking about some early impressions of Wilds of Eldraine and the new Secret Lair Superdrop. But first, a reminder. But first, a reminder, of course, that this show is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Please check out cardkingdom.com/LRR for all of your cardboard needs. Buy yourself some Eldraine, for example. Let them know that we sent you. They'll give you a little button, which I need to send them some new ones. But I think we're still on Mathis for blockers. But they're running slim. We'll be sending some new ones their way very soon. Also, this show and everything we do is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. And we really, really appreciate it. Eldraine. We're back at it again. We played the PPR, which was a blast. And we had an episode with the guests recently. And there's another episode, actually, with those same guests in the future that you'll see at some point. But we did get to finally get hands-on with it, and since then, there was the pre-release event on Arena, or the early access streamer event on Arena, and now it is formally out on Arena, and so I've been dabbling about a little bit. Kathleen, I know that you have not had as much opportunity to. Nelson, have you played much?
So I took my pre-release kit home, and I split it and did a Rochester draft with my friend Simone.
Nice.
So I have played like one match of Sealed. And while we were getting the studio ready today, I also jumped into one game of Sealed on Arena.
Sweet.
So I have a tiny, tiny bit of experience of the format.
All right. It's a good format because I've been doing well. That's how that works,
Nice.
right? It's like, you win a couple Seal events and you're like, great, excellent format. Because we're very results oriented here. I'll tell you, the red-black aggressive rats deck is quite a lot.
Right, they push the rat cards. Like I like all those cards that say rat on them pretty much. Like for limited, I don't know, what's the worst card that says rat on it? They're all pretty solid. Like why does that grow creature only cost 3 mana? There's the 2/1 for 3. Wheeler had 2 of these in the PPR.
Yeah, it's messed up.
I had to read it like 4 times. I was like, this card used to cost 4 mana and be a 1/1 and not give you another 1/1.
It's Voracious Vermin, I think, is the
yeah,
card.
That sounds right.
Yeah, it's a 2/1 rat. It makes one of the other token rats. All the token rats are 1/1s that can't block. And then whenever another creature you control dies,
even a rat. Not even another rat.
Any creature,
Just any creature.
Put a +1/+1 counter on Voracious Vermin. Like a 2/1 for 3 that also makes a rat. That's a really solid common.
That's like what you're doing with that rare from Strixhaven half the time. Like it flies, sure, because it's a rare, but like 3 mana for a 2/1 and then another 1/1 or whatever.
This is absolutely unrelated to the power and toughness of the card and what it does, which is really good. But I do love that this, to me, seems kind of like an old school Magic card because it's got a really nice straightforward name like Voracious Vermin, and the art is not like, it's got that like sort of illustrated look because it's a storybook centered set. And so to me, this could, like, if I was just not paying attention, maybe this is like from like an old set.
There's a few different ways that artists spoil us in Magic, and lately it's been more noticeable that like it's in a completely different style, right? Like the Magic, like as we're going to talk about Secret Lairs more later, so we'll get into that. But that's been the more recent thing. Before that, like especially kind of like Shards of Alara era Raymond Swanland art, like he was sort of at the forefront. It was like, check out this like kind of incredible like detail that we've got on the character. But rarely do we get a background. It's nice when we get like an actual sort of 3D-ish image, because like the most common Magic cards are just like, yep, show the character or the action, and then like the background can just be like a color, like whatever, it's fine. But yeah, I also really like the art for this card.
Yeah, it just is a cool looking card. I love it. That's my opinion on the set is I love the flavor of the set. It comes through so well in the mwah.
So I want to drill down on some more nonsense in this particular deck.
But this might even be the worst one. Sorry, I was trying to say what the worst one is, and like this isn't even one of the most important role players.
So
in
here's the
Rats,
thing.
Right?
Yeah, look at Totentans, who's the uncommon, right? Like the Pied Piper, right? And 2/3 for 3 Sure. In 2 colors. Great. Whenever Totentance or another creature dies, you make one of those rats. Non-token creature. And also he has an ability that I've never bothered to read, that attacking rats you control gain death touch until end of turn. I should have used that more. Anyway,
it doesn't come up if your opponent just concedes after you swing with enough rats.
yeah.
Like, right? Like, it's like it only comes up if you're having to fight real hard.
Yeah. So it's like something else dies, Totentance makes a rat, one of those rats dies, your Voracious Vermin gets bigger, the token rats you can use for bargaining, and also most of this deck has 2 or less power, and Raid Bombardment is an uncommon on the Enchanted Tales bonus sheet. And
Remind me, is that like direct damage to opponent?
it's whenever a creature you control with power 2 or less attacks, it deals 1 damage to the defending player or planeswalker.
Okay.
So I had someone kill my Ashiok with Raid Bombardment because they I didn't do the math, and they attacked it, and it dealt extra damage to the Ashiok. But also, I've killed my opponent with Raid Bombardment in a heavy red-black rats deck because it's just you attack with like your 4 1/1 rats that can't block. They take 4 before blockers have even happened, and maybe you lose 1 or 2 rats in the melee, but you've done a tremendous amount of damage. Also, Song of Totentance is a silly card. That's a rare, but
It's okay. We can talk about the rares. Rares are going to come up, right?
Yeah.
You know, every limited deck has access typically to 3 rares, right? Like on math or whatever. So we
Yeah.
can talk about the rares.
this is Fool. Totentance doots as he pleases. It's X and a red for a sorcery. Create X 1/1 rat creature tokens with this creature can't block. Also, creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. I mean, I got someone with just like X equals 3. Being able to just be like, oh, here's 3 extra 1/1s you weren't planning for when you blocked last turn. I attack with my whole board, and enough is going to sneak around your blockers to get you. Like, it's just a very, very powerful card. You can also, if you really have to, you can X for 0 just to give all your creatures haste. If you have some amount of stuff to cast before that, if you have like
1 flyer.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cast 1 flyer, Totentance for 0, and just sort of hit them. And so I was in a red-black deck, sealed deck, that I had all the cards were red or black, but there were 2 off-color adventures. There was the black uncommon that I can't remember what one of them was. The other one I'll tell you about in a second. But for that I was like, sure, let's go for the upside. Why not? And I ran a Crystal Grotto. This was in sealed, and there's the red cap. Is it Red Cap Piper? Red Cap. It's a 2/3 for 3, and it makes a treasure token.
Oh yeah, and then I saw you playing this deck.
Yeah, and
So
so
it's a common red creature, right?
yeah, and so it's just sort of like an added bonus. It's like a little bit of ramp, maybe it's fixing or whatever. But I just ran it because it's a 2/3 for 3, which was fit well in the curve. And then maybe I managed to like spike an upside play of
Red Cap Thief.
right of splashing one of these.
That triggers your
off-color
celebration.
adventures. Also, it triggers celebration.
And
That
it gives you something to bargain away if you're really, really desperate.
turns out there's a lot of really good synergy among the mechanics in this set. So the card I was talking about, do not sleep on this one. Imodane's
Pyre Hammer?
it's like Imodane's like trainer, but the word isn't trainer.
Mentor?
Recruiter. Thank you, James. 2 and a red for a 2/2 human knight. So it's got the adventure is train troops. 4 and a white sorcery. You make 2/2 knights with vigilance. So the game where I did get to cast that off of the treasure from my Red Cap Thief, very good, because then the main part of Imodane's Recruiter, which is great on its own, is a 2/2 for 3, and when it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+0 and haste until end of turn. So yeah, I had a game where I had 6 mana and was like, all right, a 3-drop, and then this guy, and then my whole board has +1 power, and it's just sort of, it's mini non-trampling overrun is still kind of backbreaking and limited.
Right. Especially in a deck that's already kind of aggressive, right?
Yeah.
And he's a 3-drop.
Yeah. There's a lot of removal in this set too.
You see this next to Ash Party Crasher in the same pack. What do you do?
Oof. I would probably take the recruiter.
Okay, fair enough.
And potentially Wheel Ash, but like, because the recruiter could go into the
red black deck.
the Boros celebration deck or into Rakdos Rats.
Right. You
So-
stay open.
Rats dose.
Cool.
Right. Whereas Ash doesn't do anything on her own. She needs all these
Well,
guys.
it's signpost uncommon for Celebration Boros, but
Yeah.
but this one I hadn't seen yet and looks quite good.
That's very good. Yeah, I hadn't seen it either until I opened it in the sealed pool. So yeah, that was the aggressive deck that I enjoyed playing. Yeah, like I said, lots of removal. There's like, gosh,
There's a bunch of black removal.
yeah. There's Candy Grapple, which is 2 mana. I think it is for -3/-3 or -5/-5 if you bargain.
Yeah.
Right.
There's
There's the one that's on an adventure.
Yeah,
Right?
there's
Yep.
this really good giant that's an uncommon that didn't come up, I don't think, in the PPR, but the adventure is
Ginger
two and-
Brute?
It's
No,
not- it's not Ginger Brute, it's
Not
the-
Ginger Brute.
It's the guy who, it's
It's a
like
5 mana,
Gingerbread
5/5.
Hunter or something.
Yeah, that might be right.
With, like-
Gingerbread Hunter? Is that
Yeah.
right, James? No. But the adventure is
It's
2
green.
and a black puny snack instant. Target creature gets -2/2. Yeah, it is
Yep.
Gingerbread Hunter. And then you get a 5/5 that gives you a food token for 5 mana. So this is like a really solid mid-range card that's going to kill their flyer and then hold the board.
Thank you for reminding me. I got it backwards. This was also in my red-black
Oh,
deck,
okay.
Oh.
just as the puny snack.
Sure.
Because I was like,
Yeah.
that's good enough. And
Yeah.
then if I happen to, and I did in one of the games at least, if I have the Crystal Grotto or this treasure, then I can cast the 5/5. But I'm fine with it just as that spell.
Right, that's an important part of like drafting Eldraine that you have to remember in the first week before you're familiar with all the cards. Like if you're drafting, you need to be willing to like stay open and make decisions based on just the adventures. So, don't speed up too much. Take your time and read all the cards. in the
Yeah.
first few drafts, right? Because you might take an adventure and then you think you have a green card if you look at your stack quickly. But remember, like, or you have a black card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's important.
So Candy Grapple was instant. Puny Snack, this adventure was instant. There's another instant that's 2 and a black, destroy a small creature. It's mana value 3 or less. If you cast it on your turn, you make a food. Feed the Cauldron.
Right.
Thank
yeah,
you.
this one.
Yeah. There's in red, there's Torch the Tower, which is a single red for 2 damage, or you can bargain, and then it does 3 damage and also you scry 1. Also, doing 2 or 3 damage, it exiles whatever you kill. There's
That's a pretty good card.
Yeah. There's something Bolt, which is also an instant, and it's X and a red to deal X damage, or you can bargain for twice X damage.
Okay.
That one's an uncommon. Oh, right. Sorry. There's Frantic Firebolt, which James has just brought up. That's 2 and a red, and for X damage, where X is 2 at minimum. So at minimum, it's 3 mana for 2, but it also gets additional for every card in your graveyard that is an instant or sorcery or has an adventure in your graveyard, not in exile.
Right.
So that has quite a high upside. Stone Splitter Bolt, thank you, James. That's the one that it's just an X to creature or planeswalker, or you can bargain it for twice X. There's another one that I think it involves wolves. There's another one that I don't remember that it's like 5 mana for 5 damage, but it costs 1 cheaper for each creature that attacked this turn, and that works either way.
Is that one white or is that one red?
That one's red.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
5 damage to target creature. Witch Stalker Frenzy. It does involve wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Jeez, it's already 5 damage for 4 mana at
for
instant
four
speed.
4 mana. Yeah, it's already 5 for 4 again at instant speed, but you can make it cheaper if you attack with a bunch of stuff. It can be 1 mana.
Louise.
Oh, right,
Or
right.
if they attack you with a bunch of stuff. It's just creature that attacked, right?
That's a cool card.
It's a very
That's
cool
a very
card.
cool card.
And there's a couple more that I'm not even mentioning. There is so much.
There's a lot of good.
Of course, 5
there's
mana
your-
black, kill anything, right?
The
Yeah.
removal you always get.
Yes.
Yeah. Shatter the Oath is 3 black for a sorcery, destroy target creature or enchantment if you have to. Also, you get a wicked roll for this. There's another black one. It's 2 black to exile something
Right.
at instant speed. And then you also get to scry 2.
end. Yeah.
No, not even the
Not
end.
this one.
It's,
Yeah,
it's,
there's a
it's an
common,
uncommon. So the end, I'll read this
yeah.
one. 2 black, instant. It costs 2 less to cast if your life total is 5 or less, kind of like some Fate Flower throwback. Exile target creature or planeswalker, and then you also get to surgical extraction after you do the exile. But there's an uncommon that's, there you go, Taken by Nightmares.
Right.
Yeah, 2 black, instant, exile a creature. Then if you control an enchantment, you get to scry 2.
Wow.
The point is red-black has a lot of good removal, which is what pulled me into that. Like I was running I'd like 12 creatures in this deck, right? But it was like the opponent's not going to get any creatures either, right? Was sort of my strategy.
There's a 1 green mana hexproof trick. Go ahead.
Yeah.
There is, yes.
Yeah, okay, so when we were doing the pre-release, the pre-release, I was very tempted to put black in my deck instead of red, which I think red was the better call. But I was tempted to put black in because I had a lot of removal. And I was like, how weird, I've just pulled all the removal. No, I pulled a mere fraction of it. There's so it reminds me of, do you remember black and Theros?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Had lots of good removal. Also had sort of cared about enchantments going on. Also had Ashiok. Oh God, it's like they really are. Oh, these
Adam
Magic
likes
card
this set too,
designers.
doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
There's a cyclical wave or whatever, right?
Also on the bonus sheet, good old stab wound.
Oh my gosh, I was hoping we were going to talk about Stab Wound because I got one in my pre-release kit, and my friend and I had to like notice what was happening in the art. Can we pull up Stab Wound?
Yeah.
It's a knight stabbing a donut, right? Is that what's happening?
Yep.
It's a jelly donut. It kind of looks like a donut version of Humpty Dumpty, right? They're both round, I guess, but like sort of personified. But instead of like coming, falling off the wall, it's like being run down by soldiers.
I want to know if you can eat the creatures from Sweet Tooth once you kill them, or if it's like
I would think they're malevolent in some way.
probably.
Yeah, well, so's most candy though, right? It's going straight for your arteries.
Good point.
That's true.
You know?
What first seemed like a ridiculous and vaguely demeaning task quickly turned into a vicious struggles for survival.
From Welcome to Sweet Tooth.
Incredible.
So I've been focusing a lot on red and black. I want to talk about
That's okay.
removal in other colors because this just feels like there's a lot of removal flying around.
It's removal in all the colors. Right?
Yeah. So white has a common pacifism effect for 1 and a white that also has
exiles, right?
Yeah, that you can also exile for 2 and a white. Cooped up. There we go. So it's just pacifism. Can't attack or block for 2 mana. Great. But also has the added bonus of being able to exile it later.
They've really been juicing up pacifisms lately.
Yeah.
Like there was also planar disruption or something or whatever the recent one. Like I put
that
a
one,
pacifism
yeah.
in my commander deck recently. Like Dark Imitation is probably still the king, but I put this one in that was just like it can also go on a planeswalker and it like makes you not be able to. It's like an arrest for 2 mana.
Yeah, that was the planar disruption.
Yeah, is that like the name
From-
right? Yeah, from 1 or from mom.
Yeah, one of those.
one or mom,
One or mom.
not bro. But
No.
yeah, this big. Go ahead.
Oh, I wanted to wait till you were done, but I wanted to cut in and say, Judge Nelly, I have a question.
Great. I was just gonna say big year for pacifisms.
Oh, yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
When can you use that exile enchanted creature ability?
Whenever you have priority.
Excellent. So, say in response to them doing something.
Well, it has to be on the battlefield. So
Yes,
you cast
obviously.
cooped up. Yeah. Well, some of our listeners might think that you can activate it from the stack or something like that. Yeah. So 2 mana, you have to cast it targeting the creature. If they do something in response, like momentary blink their creature, no cooped up, nothing's happening. It's just going to the graveyard. But once it resolves, it's your turn, and you just cast enchantment. So you're going to get priority in. So if you want, you could do it immediately when it resolves, unless you're like somehow getting an enchantment into play on your opponent's turn with some effect. But say you cast it. You did that during your main phase, right? Okay, now you have priority again. You could exile it immediately, or you can wait until they go to anything but sacrifice it. If they afterwards try to momentary blink it, you can respond with exiling it. Does that answer your question?
Yep.
Yes.
Great.
Also,
You can't respond to their bargain though. If you put this on like an artifact creature or an enchantment creature,
I was just about to say that, yeah.
cool.
Yeah, because bargain's a sacrifice.
Yeah, that's paying a cost, and you don't have priority while your opponent's paying costs.
Yeah. But if you have, say, I don't know if there's a card that's relevant for this, but as an example, if there's an instant speed spell with bargain that costs, say, 2, so you don't have the mana up to do the exile, and they're like, I'm going to disenchant your cooped up while you're tapped out of exile. They're going to get to do that, but you could bargain and sacrifice your cooped up in response,
Absolutely.
and then get some sort of extra value there. I don't know.
Bargain's a pretty cool mechanic.
It is.
Yeah. To review, it says enchantment, artifact, or token.
Yeah.
Right? You have to sacrifice one of those things. So all of your cardboard creatures are not getting bargained.
Yeah, which I messed up at the PPR.
Great. Okay, sorry I didn't catch you messing that up
No,
with the
it's okay.
PPR even after doing the judge video. I messed it up at home playing my first pre-release game too. I was like, I'll just sacrifice this giant to do the bargain. And then we're like, oh no, that's not what bargain says. Sorry, we got to rewind, right?
Yeah.
So probably we're not the only ones. You've all probably been running into that. It feels like if you were to sacrifice something, you get to sacrifice a creature if there's a list of options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Magic has that vibe, right? So we all read that and then needed to read it again.
Well,
At least us two.
Yeah.
Us both, yeah.
I will say, in like our collective defense, typically if a Magic card has some sort of like you must sacrifice something for an effect, you're getting they want you to sacrifice something real because you're getting something good at a very big discount. Right? Whereas bargain's just a little bit like a little bit extra.
Right. We're just
bargain,
we're haggling.
Yeah,
We're not.
yeah.
You're not stealing it.
And you can sacrifice creatures to
If they're
bargain
tokens.
if they're tokens.
Like rats.
Exactly. And so in my head I was like, I'll just sacrifice this creature that someone had a cooped up on, and Serge was like, no, you can't do that.
Oh,
I'm
good.
like,
Serge was watching that.
Oh
Great.
man. So
Good job, Serge.
also in white, sorry, there's your sort of standard white combat nonsense. There's Kellen's Night Blades. I think it's light
first
blades
strike or something.
Light blades.
Light blades, I think it is. It's damage to an attacking or blocking
Oh,
creature.
right, this one.
Or you can bargain to just destroy that creature.
I really like this one.
Yeah.
I love that they use the bargain mechanic to say, hey, you know that kind of bad removal you don't really love playing? We're gonna make it worth your while.
Yeah. We're gonna let you actually do the thing.
Yeah.
On the bonus sheet, you got Grasp of Fate, which is just like an O-ring, basically. It's better in multiplayer, but in 1v1, it's an O-ring. It's 1 white enchantment, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent for each player until Grasp of Fate leaves the battlefield.
Was this from Commander originally? I don't remember the set that Grasp of Fate came out in, but it's on the reprint
I
sheet,
don't know.
obviously.
I actually don't know, but
Okay.
I would guess it's Commander because of the way that it's worded.
That's all good.
What else is actually in the set in white for removal? I'm racking my brain now. I've mostly been playing other colors.
Yeah, Glass Casket is reprinted.
Right, reprint of Glass
from
Casket.
Eldraine, right?
Yep, 1 white ETB exile. It's an O-ring for things of mana value 3 or less. Only creatures. Right, Moment of Valor, which I think is also a reprint, or at least cards very similar to this have happened before. It's 2 and a white. Modal, either you untap a creature and it gets +1/+0 and indestructible until end of turn, which can be removal on its own if you surprise block with a now indestructible creature, or you just destroy a target creature with power 4 or greater.
So I think this card is new. I think this is the first printing of this card, but it is very similar. It doesn't the other one doesn't untap a creature, but there's a 2-mana modal spell from Concept Tarkir block that has seen a reprint at least once. I think into standard. That's 1 and a white for target creatures indestructible or destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Or it might be toughness, but it's like a conditional
I think
removal.
it's toughness.
The other one, the card stuck here one might be toughness. I'm sorry, James, I don't remember what this card's called, but we've seen it. It was in real decks.
There was one from Neon Genesis Kamikawa that was, I think it was Seal from Existence, I think it was called. It was like the modal there thing was destroy a big creature or destroy an enchantment. Right. And it's of a similar sort of vibe that they're like, all right, we're going to give white this like removal for very, very big creatures, or you can do something else with it as like a instant speed modal trick.
Well, because if it was only removal for big chonky boys and girls, you wouldn't run it ever. So it has to be a mediocre trick as well.
Yeah.
White blue has this tap down flavor, right? So a bunch of their removal is just tapping your creatures, but there's stun counters in this set, right?
Yeah. Oh,
One or two.
that's
Yeah.
a good point. What was the one you had 3? Is it Dead of Winter?
It is like Grasp of Winter.
You had 3 of them in your.
Yeah, it's like tap target creature, draw a card.
For 2 mana. Plunge,
2 mana.
plunge,
Plunge
into
into
winter.
winter,
Oh, and
yeah.
scry one first. Scry
Yeah,
one,
it
then
does
draw a card.
so
That's right. Yeah,
much.
only 2 mana. This is like a ponder.
Yeah, no, it
Right?
does so much. It's
Yeah.
so good. I never drew any of them in my games.
But you had
which was
3 in
like-
your deck?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was really fun.
I
No,
also put this
I
in
went
my
down to
deck.
2,
Oh, okay, sure. I
but-
had one of these in my deck and also never drew it, but I was like, this seems good.
Yeah.
I also had the crown though. So like if you have the crown, you're supposed to play like any cards that say tap target creature because you're going to be doubling up on the cards you draw.
Oh, I had Hilda herself. So I also
nice,
really wanted
nice.
to tap creatures.
Right, I remember that. We're looking at Stroke of Midnight. James is showing us from.
yeah.
Is this one we were just talking about, or is this just another one?
This is just more good removal in the set.
Wait a second. This is just a better generous gift. What the heck?
Yeah, 2 and a white for an instant. Destroy target non-land permanent. So any number of things, and then its controller gets a 1/1 human. Yeah, it's just strictly better than generous
Did
gift.
anyone have this at the PPR? This seems like the
No.
best removal in the set.
It's very good.
Does generous gift do lands? Does Beast Within and generous gift do lands, don't they? Yeah.
Permanent.
Oh, okay. So
Permanent.
my
Yeah,
bad.
exactly.
Okay.
That's why.
I
It's okay.
rescind my strictly, but it seems
okay.
generally better.
I'm going to
than
go with
generous
better.
gift. Yeah.
Well, it's certainly better for limited.
Yeah.
There's like no fixing in this.
Well,
set.
there are
Crystal
creature lands,
Grotto
actually,
is-
but-
oh, that's true. But
Yeah.
like Crystal Grotto is just like, oh, that's what you want.
I did-
And,
Yeah.
and Evolving Wilds, like it's very like
There was
There's not much
something.
fixing lands, yeah.
no, and the creature lands are not good for fixing your mana. They're
They
only
come in
good.
tapped, right?
Yeah, they come in tapped, and you need like other mana of those colors to activate their abilities. Like they're not going to really fix your mana that much.
Right, yeah.
You know?
I see what you mean. Like they're not, yeah, just the creature lands aren't necessarily good on the splash because they're an into play tapped source of your splash color.
Exactly.
And then they also, they tease you into playing them by saying like, look, I'm going to become a creature. But wait, slow down. If you are like a blue-green deck splashing Restless Cottage, you need to find your cottage and another black source every turn you want to activate it.
Yeah, so ignore that creature part.
Yeah.
Right? So it's
like you can play it as a tap land that adds your other color, but just keep in mind you're playing just Guildgate most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're splashing for one of the colors of your creature lands, like realistically you're not attacking with that creature land. Yeah.
I agree.
Generally speaking, some of these are better than others, as is usually the case, but they are all pretty great.
For limited? Yeah, they all seem totally fine for limited. We were reviewing them on Earth 100 because I think all of them are playable as like, like lands to help you cast your spells in any constructed format. But we mostly thought they were worse than their Battle for Zendikar counterparts. Like
right.
the blue-green one's maybe an exception, and like the blue-red one is kind of sweet because it only costs 2 to activate.
It's cheap, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say I was briefly thinking that there was something that could destroy lands, but I think I was conflating it with cube because the arena cube was just on, and I remember
right.
definitely blowing up someone's land because they put like a Utopia Sprawl on it or something.
Oh, nice.
And I don't remember, but that wasn't. I'm pretty sure there's not some random Enchanting Tales card that lets you destroy a non-land permanent. I think.
I'm sure your opponent loved that play.
Oh, I'm sure they did. Yeah. When Adam and I were doing the pre-release, the early access streamer event for Arena, we had an opponent play Bitter Blossom off of the bonus sheet,
Ooh.
and it was only a detriment to them.
Oh no.
Yeah, we were on the play, and we just kept slamming in and
Right.
just sort of abyssing their fairies, and
they're
it was
just,
just sitting
so
there
ticking
hurting them.
down a life
Yeah.
every turn.
So this is possibly a lost skill because there's not a ton of cards like Bitter Blossom that allow you to do this specifically. The last time they printed a Bitter Blossom, it gave a mass. So you couldn't play this game where you like built up Bitter Blossom tokens while taking damage at the same time and then get ready to like turn the screws on your opponent because the math involved is actually pretty complicated. I'm not saying that your opponent necessarily punted, but in that situation where like if your opponent's attacking you aggressively, you really want to figure out like how soon do I absolutely need to chump with my Bitter Blossom tokens in limited, because like it can stack up pretty fast if you can attack back with even one of them and then 2 and then 3 the next turn. That's a pretty fast clock.
Yeah.
But you got to take damage during those turns and obviously from your Bitter Blossom as well. So
there's we talked about Imogene's Recruiter, but there's also in red there's another sort of a Trumpet Blast-ish effect that also, like, when one of your non-token creatures dies, it turns into a rat as well afterwards.
Yeah.
It's messed up. I don't
9 Crescendo.
Thank you. Yeah.
Someone had this at the PPR.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. Was it might have been Other Cat.
I think so. Yeah. So it was 2 like I said, 2 in a red. Creatures get +2/+0, so it's exactly like Trumpet Blast in that regard. But then also, if a non-token creature you control dies, you make a 1/1. But yeah.
There's a lot of things in the set that say, "Hey, make some rats."
Yeah.
I know we're just coming back to the beginning of the discussion, but just
Clearly,
like,
that's our favorite part, though.
well, the set does seem very synergistic.
Yeah.
I like the bonus sheets a lot.
Oh, the bonus sheet is super fun, and the art on it is great. Though I will say, my deck did get stopped in its tracks by some nonsense blue-white tap down
Yes.
stuff. Because
Right.
I can't be hyper aggressive if my things can't untap ever.
The
Right.
blue-white deck seems to be the most sort of like, if this snowballs, it's the least fun for your opponent.
Yeah,
Right? Like this, it's sort of like if the
Snowballs.
stars, if the stars align to like let your opponent or let the blue-white deck tap down all the most important things and then just like draw off their effects and just keep having more resources than you, attacking you with flyers, and then also tapping down whatever's relevant every turn. It's like, great, you felt like you played that game of Magic for sure, right?
Yep.
So, sympathies.
I assume we will have more thoughts on Eldraine as we get to actually play more of it.
Yes.
But
I could talk about one more card if you want. I really
Please.
enjoy. Yeah, sorry. I didn't know we were looking
No.
for more stuff
No.
actively. Yeah, the blue green signpost on common
Oh,
that's
yeah.
like a Vidalkin from Ravnica is super cool, and I like.
oh
this deck.
yes.
Troyan.
Troyan. Limited resources really like this card.
Yeah.
They were like, they were
like it too.
talking about it, saying, "Okay, we have to watch this card because if this card is good, then you can play all sorts of like ridiculous high end stuff. You can go from like 3 to 5, and you can just put a lot of 5-drops in your deck. And normally you only want to put like 3 in the max, right?
Yeah.
So they're
I
saying
also
that
like
could be
that
very fun.
because it's a looter. It lets you double up on legendary creatures in your deck, right? If you get 3 copies of Troyan, play all 3, right? You're always going to be pretty happy. It blocks early. It makes mana pretty early to throw down your huge giants and stuff, or even the big flyers in blue at common not having a great rate. Like, is there a 5-mana 2/4 flying in this set? Or maybe it might be a 3/4, but like the common flyer I think is not like super impressive. There is an uncommon 6-mana 4/4 flyer, but even just casting, even just without bargain, getting up to 7 with help from Troyan and casting the giant that gains you life and is a 6/6 trample for 7 mana, totally fine. Like,
You don't want 3. He blocks real well.
yeah. Yeah, he gains you life, and that's like the baseline. Just have 2 of those and some Troyons and some other flyers and regular interactive spells in your deck, and just beautiful blue-green play patterns. So I like this card a lot.
I just like anything Ravnican because
Sure.
it's my favorite plane. So
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, now we're going to talk about some Secret Lair because they
Nice.
just announced the Secret Lair Fall Superdrop. Is that what this one is, or is this the Summer Superdrop? I know we're at the end of summer. It's fall. It's the Fall Superdrop. It's available for the next 24 days at time of recording. And we're just going to quickly go through them and show you what sort of stuff they're offering. And also, Kathleen
There's a
hasn't
whole
seen
bunch.
these, so
No.
live react from
Okay,
Kathleen.
right. Yeah, I just looked once because you asked if anyone else wants to go in on them.
Yeah.
I just looked at these. Yeah.
So we'll start with Absolute Annihilation. These are some very stylistically illustrated cards with art by Tomo77. And
Sounds like it's got a lot of black cards in it.
So I looked at this set and I was trying to
Yes.
figure out what like IP
Whoa.
or like it feels like there's something going on here that this is referenced, but I didn't know what, and I couldn't tell from the website.
it's just, I don't know.
It's just wild.
Maybe
and
I'm
it's-
supposed to Google Tomo77 to
It's
figure out
also
what
in
else
all
they're working on.
caps.
Yeah.
Everything. In fact, the description is also in all caps.
Yeah, everything is all caps.
And the description doesn't necessarily explain it either.
Right.
But they're, like I said, they're very, very stylistic. So there's Oppression, also Abrade. Some very cool stuff. Mass Hysteria. Now's the time for action. Now's the time for chaos. Now's the time for one age to end and a red era to begin.
See, like this flavor text especially makes me think like, is this from a book?
I have no idea.
Right.
I honestly don't
Okay,
know.
Great.
And finally, Terminate. So just a bunch of red, black, cool stuff.
That
Okay.
looks cool.
Yeah. I like destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Make them pay.
Wait, can we go back to the second one that had a lot of flavor text?
Abrade.
Yeah. Idols and men become slag beneath the altar to the new object of worship. Lord unmaking the great dissolution.
Yeah, I have no idea what this is referencing, but it's very cool.
The art style is very interesting. Like it looks like to me it looks like it's a lot of pen stroke, whatever that is, like ink.
Yeah.
Like very fine line work.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if it's paint or not. It might just be ink. But it's not like a comic book style. That's very like cool art style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a name for it. Sorry. I play Magic cards.
I mean, Graham and I aren't volunteering any
No,
suggestions.
it's fine.
Yeah.
So,
Cameron, if you could hit me up in the comments.
yeah, if you know what we're talking about, tell us.
Yeah, we want to know what this art style is called. And or if you know what this is referencing, or if you've already Googled Tomo77 and found out what the vibe, like what the background of this Secret Lair project is, tell us. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if oppression or mass hysteria are particularly going for a lot these days. I can't imagine a Braid and Terminate are particularly pricey.
Oppression, I think, would be the most expensive card. I could check, but I think Oppression is the most expensive card in the set. And I don't know that it's particularly expensive. So this one's more about just like if you're
into this.
Oppression looks like it was just reprinted in the Enchanting Tales.
Oh, okay. But
before that, it looks like the Urza Saga and 7th edition were like $15 kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I thought Oppression was like at least a $10 card. So that's got there's still some relative value there. Like you can get a cheap Oppression right now from Eldraine cheaper, but if you want to count this as being the $20 card that gets you by the Secret Lair, I think that's okay to rationalize.
All right, I will say that there are
#Magic Math.
Yeah, exactly. There are bundles, obviously, but individually, each of the Secret Lairs that I'll be talking about today is either $30 for the 4 cards or $40 for them in foil.
Or if you're translating to Canadian, that's 75 or 90.
It's pretty expensive up here at the moment. Next is the Secret Lair we created especially for Graham. It's now on VHS. And it's 4 cards that are styled to look like old covers of like VHS movies from the late 80s and early 90s.
So everyone, before streaming, we used to actually have a physical copy of the media, and then we would put it into something that was like a player that would attach it to the screen.
And it's important to have really cool looking art on it, because what you do is you go to the video store and you rent it purely based on the art.
Yeah, we would go and judge our evening's books by their covers.
Yeah.
This was a thing for a while.
So this one features Rewind.
So cool. Looks like Time Cop, right?
Yeah, and it has like I appreciate the stickers. It's instant and charge if tape not rewound.
That was also a thing.
Very good, yep. We've got Food Chain. This is very entertaining. I don't know, I love how these look.
Horror movie looking box cover, yeah.
Yeah. Next we have, whoa, I pushed the wrong button over here. Rampant Growth.
Nice.
Sort of a Revenge of Nature movie.
Oh.
Makes a lot of sense. Day of the Triffids kind of nonsense there. And the First Sliver. Yeah.
3-day rental.
The 7/7 is like a faded, that's like a marking for, when this was a 7-day rental or something, or or it came out of, you know what I mean? Sometimes there's various different stickers that would be on the boxes that were just for Blockbuster Video or whoever to internally they would manage. You'd look and there'd be a bunch of numbers and notes on your thing, and you're like, I don't know why that's there or what that means.
Yeah.
This one I think is the best harmony between VHS design and card legibility.
Yeah.
I would tie it with the Rewind for me. I think the Rewind looks great, and this is the card you're buying if you're buying this set from the Magic Finance perspective. This is the go get it card. Although Food Chain also used to be expensive, but they've done some reprints of Food Chain. This one I love that they did just like movie posters and concert posters.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of making Magic cards like this, immaculate to me. I wish they'd included a card that I sort of care about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Next is the only 5-card lair in this Superdrop. It's Magic the Baseballing. And these we're going to have to look at both sides of the cards here. There's some very, very cool stuff, because these are baseball cards of the Lorwyn 5 Planeswalkers. So we've got a Johnny Goldmane, but they're all done like old like retro baseball cards. So here's the front of a Johnny with the mana cost and the loyalty and his position on the field, which is very cool. But for all the actual Planeswalker abilities, you have to look at the back of the card where we got his stats.
Incredible how they made it look like faded old paper cardboard.
Oh my god, the design on these
Briefly
is
traded
impeccable.
to Phyrexians in 2022. I had not noticed that. That's very funny.
So clever.
As I said, it's the Lorwyn 5. So we've got Jace.
He's the pitcher.
Yeah. They're all members of the Gatewatch. One Planeswalker of the Year in 2010, 2011, 2012. Liliana, or Liliana Vess in specific. This is 3 black.
Right field.
5 mana Lily. Stole 23 bases last season, refuses to return them. Excellent.
The bases themselves.
Chandra Nalaar. All-star Planeswalker. Excellent. Holds league record for most bats incinerated. just holding a bat. It just completely emulates. And Garruk Wildspeaker. Designated hitter. No kidding.
That makes sense.
Over 336 heads batted in, knocked 172 out of the park. Excellent.
Is that just stats related to human heads and balls?
I assume so, yeah.
Or not balls, I mean.
Excellent stuff there. This one's the same price. It's 5 cards, but it's the same price.
That's cool. And they're all planeswalkers.
Yeah. I think this is the 3rd stage of this joke. It's in terms of the name of it. This lair is keep partying hard, shred harder than you previously thought possible. Because I think it's the 3rd or 4th time that they've done it's Magic Card or Metal Band. These are Metal Band posters inspired by specific cards. These are all legendary creatures this time. So we've got Tevish Zot, Doom of Fools.
Ah, whoa.
Wait, I think this one's a planeswalker, actually.
Yep, sure is.
Sorry,
You're totally right.
Realizing that I'm not even sure, and you had just introduced it as a creature.
No, it says right there, Planeswalker on the side. And
I
there's
know,
4
but
royalty down there.
That's a little piece of the secret lair description, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. But I mean, I will give them 100%. It is as illegible as a real metal band thing. So good job. It looks awful, but perfect, right?
Sure.
Yep. Godo, Bandit Warlord.
Pretty cool.
Good stuff there. Looks a little less like a poster, but still incredibly metal. So that's sweet. Jeska, Thrice Reborn.
Oh, wow.
Another planeswalker, actually. Yeah.
Yep.
So commanders. They're all commanders, though.
Oh, right.
They're both. I think Tevish Dot and Jessica can both be your commander.
If I can.
Don't hurt your eyes.
Tevish, that can be your commander. Yes. Okay, you are correct.
Yeah.
And finally, Vile Smasher the Fierce.
Nice, right?
Yeah. Legendary 2/3 with.
This one looks like it could be a '90s VHS cover as well. Actually.
It does actually, yeah.
But still pretty metal.
Yeah. And we've got 3 more layers total.
3 more layers.
3 more.
Wow.
Sorry, there's a couple more with 5 cards. I misspoke earlier. This one has 5 cards because they're basic lands. It's featuring Gary Baseman. Yeah.
Okay.
You're surprised to see Gary Baseman on Magic cards?
Yes.
Yeah, what a surprise, huh? Yeah, it's very cool. It's first ever time doing Magic cards. And it's it's just a cycle of basics. Here's the plains. There's the island. Swamp. I love the guy in the background.
Aw.
Mountain. And forest.
Those are very cute.
Yeah.
I love them.
Very, very cool stuff. Yeah, what a surprise to see Gary Baseman on Magic cards. I was also surprised. So yeah, very cool there. Same prices, and it is ultimately 5 basics. But
We've had that conversation already.
yeah, I don't
Nothing's changed.
love it, but they look very cool.
Yeah.
We've got Buggin' Out, which are this is sort of like this is like gross 90s slime style
Ugh.
of like vaguely insect and related and related cards. So we've got Eldritch Evolution. This is all art by Wooden Cyclops, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Giant Adiphage.
Okay, I was not sure I would like the art direction of this, but this is great.
Yeah. Noxious Revival. Very sort of toxic Avengers. Grist the Hunger Tide.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Hey?
Yeah, Grist looking very, very cool. And Mazarek, Crowl Death Priest.
Whoa.
Yeah. That is a laser show that I would go see.
This one has like a bunch of banger actual Magic cards, like Grist and Eldritch Evolution. So if you like this style, like if you would rather play these copies than the original arts, then go get in there. You know,
Yeah.
the deal financially is not that bad.
I always prefer any layer that's got 5 cards over 4. And finally, Artist Series. It's finally Kev Walker's time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
One of Magic's best love.
For this Artist Series. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, no, just a really popular artist for a long time.
Yeah. The note here for this Artist Series, Kev picked the cards, created the art, and wrote the flavor text about a hero's hopeless crusade against the cruelty of the gods.
Wow.
Ooh.
Thanks, Kev. Wow.
So, yeah, first up we have Faeburrow Elder, which is a recent one. It's the one from, I want to say it was Dominaria United? Yeah.
Is that right? I thought
Unless it was a
Faeburrow
reprint.
Elder came from like a non-Dominaria set, like Eldraine. Like, was Faeburrow Elder just from Throne of Eldraine?
Correct.
Yeah, Throne of Eldraine.
Oh. Was it reprinted recently?
It was in the Dominaria United Commander deck.
Okay.
Huh.
That's where you're getting the Dominaria vibes from.
Maybe. I swear I
It's
saw it
certainly
in
like
limited.
good in a domain deck.
Yeah. I wonder what I'm getting it confused with.
Well, I mean, Dominaria United also had tons of domain, right?
Yeah, literally every other domain card, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I swear that I saw this in limited, but
Do we call Dominaria United Dom U? Or is that too confusing?
We do now.
Back in Dom U as opposed to regular Dom.
Hey, comment section.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah.
we've got first ever reprint of Carnage Tyrant.
He sought wise counsel from the Maiden of the Trees, but all he learned was the death of kings.
Very cool Carnage Tyrant. We've got our boy Fleshy Bee.
The slaughter of his people by unliving monsters.
And finally, what an interesting choice. It That Betrays.
And his world burned to ashes by the breath of gods.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Cool story, Kev Walker.
Yeah. That's very neat.
Yeah, gorgeous art, as per usual.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on it, but now that I know that Kev Walker wrote the flavor text and chose the cards, I kind of want to buy it.
Yeah.
I basically don't play any of these cards ever, but they're all sweet cards. I don't know.
And as usual, there is a selection of bundles. You can save a few bucks on the Bugs, Bands, and Blockbusters bundle for the Shred Party Hard, the Bugging Out, and the VHS covers. Just sort of all those bundled together. You save about $10. Or you can do a bundle of everything that I just mentioned in foil or in non-foil. Or if you really want, you can get a bundle of everything in both foil and non-foil.
Ooh.
And that will save you $70, but it will also cost you $420. So, if you're in the States at least, orders over $75 is now free shipping. I don't know if that follows for Canada. Usually we get kind of ruined on Secret Lair shipping, which is why, as Nelson mentioned, which is why I'm like, hey, new Secret Lair Superdrop. Does anybody want to go in on this and share the weight of shipping? So
Yeah. Does anybody want to share the load?
sure.
They do make them in smaller containers now than originally by quite a lot.
Oh,
so.
they're so shout outs
Yeah.
to the Secret Lair ship, because the first Secret Lairs were literally like larger than a regular deck box, but weren't that good at being a deck box. I mean, I use them at home for keeping some shash in, but like they were big boxes.
You can use them to store Magic cards, but like you kind of have to make your like the people that are using Secret Lair boxes to store Magic cards in paid for those Secret Lair boxes, right? Like, no, I'd done it a bit too until eventually I had to coax myself down, like get off of my, I don't know, depression era, like grandparents' voice in the back of my head or whatever. This is like, you gotta use that. You paid for it or whatever. It's like, no,
That's a nice box. We should keep that.
Exactly. Yes, I had to like let my millennial self get rid of a box once, and it was a Secret Lair box because they're only medium at holding Magic cards.
Yeah.
After the fact, right? They're basically garbage.
But
you
now
can use them to wrap other gifts in, though.
it's true.
Cut it out, Aunt Ruby.
Sorry, you collapse. You just like I have just stacks of. You know what? After a certain point, you just don't have to ever buy wrapping paper or boxes or bags again.
Graham, for our birthdays this year, I want you to come over to my house and get rid of all of the obvious garbage that's there that
right.
I've been keeping, and I'll do the same for you.
Sounds
I'm
great.
going into Kathleen's. This is going to be wrapping paper room, and I'm going to recycle
Dude,
all of
it's
it.
one shelf in my closet.
Not after next year. It's not.
Oh,
Big shelf.
You're going to get
It
that
is a
shelf
big
back. Yeah.
The evolution of the Secret Lair packaging, because it went from like those huge things with like a bunch of plastic inside to like a plastic like clamshell, and then the things were in plastic as well, then going through to the smaller boxes, which I quite liked. I honestly really liked those like
Thin boxes.
but they were also useless after the fact.
But they at least know what they are.
But they were they were nice. To now, it's the envelope with like the rippy thing on the back. It's an envelope with a cardboard card to keep it all solid and a paper booster wrapper for the actual cards themselves. Love that.
And then when it arrives in the mail, if you just get one, would it maybe just come in a bubble mailer? Like maybe the shipping has gotten better. Maybe it's
It's much better.
Okay,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
I don't know if
cheaper.
the actual shipping's.
Cheaper
I don't know if
or
it's
not?
cheaper, but from a packaging perspective, it's much better than
Using
it was.
less materials.
Using less materials, and if it's lighter and easier to ship, it uses like less resources to ship.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
a win-win. Yeah. So yeah, that's if you're into Secret Lair. I know not everybody is, but I've said before I am definitely that sucker among Loading Ready Run. It's not just me, but it's mostly me. I'm the most reliable sucker, let's say. So yeah, that's Tap for this week.
We'll probably drop a bunch more if you wanted more Eldraine opinions.
Oh, yeah.
At time of recording, we've got a draft coming up tomorrow night. So at time of watching this, you should be able to grab that on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. And follow the channel also, please. Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you.
While you've got your tabs open,
Yeah,
make
yeah.
one of them store.loadingreadyrun.com and check out that
Why
sweet new
not?
20th anniversary hoodie. None of us are wearing it right this second because it's honestly still kind of warm out because this
It
20th
is.
anniversary hoodie is like a winter hoodie. It's very thick and high quality.
real
and
comfy.
It's so nice.
20th anniversary is not till next month. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah. Hey, thanks everybody for watching and listening to Tap this week. As a reminder, of course, the show is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, and by our friends at Card Kingdom, cardkingdom.com/LRR. We really appreciate it. Until next time, I've been Graham, joined by Nelson,
I was here too.
Kathleen, and James is on tech. Heather gets these online. Thank you all so much for listening and watching, and we will talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.